Listen up, because I'm about to drop a truth bomb that'll shatter every excuse you've ever made. You wake up every day feeling like life's got you pinned down, like you're just another cog in the machine, grinding away without a single win in sight. But what if I told you that the secret to becoming unstoppable isn't some magic pill or a lucky break? It's a mindset forged in fire, a discipline so ironclad that nothing, and I mean nothing, can touch you. I'm Andrew Tate, and today we're diving deep into this. If you're tired of being average, if you're sick of watching others lap you while you sit on the sidelines, then strap in. This isn't feel-good fluff. This is your wake-up call to dominate. Number one, imagine this. You're in the ring, sweat dripping, opponent circling like a shark. One wrong move and you're done. But you're unbreakable because you've built walls of steel around your mind. The secret starts right there in your head. Most people are slaves to their thoughts, bouncing from distraction to distraction, chasing dopamine hits from social media likes or cheap thrills. Unstoppable? That's when you master your mind. You decide every morning that weakness has no place in your life. No more, I'll try tomorrow. No more scrolling through endless feeds while your dreams rot. Train your brain like it's your most valuable weapon. Read books that build empires, not memes that waste time. Surround yourself with winners, not whiners. I built my fortune not by luck, but by outthinking the room every single day. You want unstoppable? Control your focus, or it controls you. Now, let's hit you with the raw truth. Discipline is the fuel that turns dreamers into doers. Hook 2, picture a lion in the wild. Does it wait for the perfect moment to hunt? Hell no. It moves with purpose, every muscle honed from relentless practice. That's you becoming unstoppable. Daily rituals that no storm can break. Wake at dawn, hit the gym before the world stirs, eat clean like your body's a temple, not a trash bin. I don't care if it's raining, if you're tired, if your bed's calling, get up and grind. Discipline isn't punishment, it's power. Those who complain about hard work are the ones you'll pass on the way to the top. I've been broke, betrayed, locked in fights I couldn't win on paper, but discipline pulled me through every time. Stack your habits, meditate to sharpen your edge, journal your wins to remind yourself you're a beast. Unstoppable men don't negotiate with laziness, they crush it. But here's where it gets real. Resilience. The unbreakable core of any legend. Hook 3. Think of the greatest fighters in history. They get knocked down 100 times, but they rise 1,000. Life will punch you in the gut. Lost jobs, broken relationships, failures that sting like hell. The secret? You don't break, you bend and come back stronger. I've stared down prison walls, financial ruins, and doubters who said I'd never make it. Each hit, fuel for the fire. Unstoppable isn't avoiding pain. It's embracing it as your teacher. When failure knocks, you answer with fury. Analyze what went wrong, fix it, and charge forward. Build that mental armor by facing fears head on. Cold showers, tough conversations, risks that scare the average man. The world wants you soft, compliant. You're forging steel in the flames of adversity. Rise every time and watch how nothing can stop you. Money, status, legacy, these aren't accidents, they're engineered. Hook 4, envision a chess master, always 3 moves ahead while others react. Unstoppable wealth comes from value creation, not handouts. Hustle smarter, learn skills that pay, trading, building businesses, negotiating like a shark. I turn nothing into millions by spotting opportunities others missed. Invest in yourself first. Courses, mentors, networks of alphas, cut the dead weight, toxic friends, time sucks, anything that drains your empire building energy. Track your net worth weekly, make it grow or die trying. Women respect power. They follow the unstoppable man who commands his domain. Don't beg for success. Build it brick by brick, deal by deal. One more hook to seal it. You're not just surviving, you're conquering. The secret ties it all, mindset, discipline, resilience, action, into a weapon that carves your name in stone. Excuses are for the weak, results are for the unstoppable. Imagine this. You're standing at the edge of a cliff, wind howling, the abyss staring back, whispering doubts that could pull you under in seconds. But you don't flinch. You grip the ledge with iron resolve because the real war isn't out there. It's raging inside your skull where weak thoughts breed weaker men, and only the unbreakable claim victory. The secret to becoming unstoppable begins right here in mastering your mindset, that raw, untamed force that decides if you're a spectator or a conqueror. Most people let their minds run wild, slaves to fleeting emotions and endless distractions, chasing cheap highs from social media scrolls while their potential gathers dust. Not you. You seize control like a general commanding an army, reprogramming every thought to serve your empire. Hook 1, picture the average man glued to his screen, dopamine addicted and directionless, watching life pass by as he mutters excuses about bad luck or tough breaks. That's not your story. You wake up and declare war on victim mentality, choosing laser-sharp purpose over pity parties every single day because a mind unchained turns obstacles into stepping stones. Now let's get real. Self-mastery isn't some fluffy concept. It's the foundation of every legend who's ever dominated. Start with self-awareness, tuning into your inner dialogue like a hawk spotting prey, identifying those self-sabotaging beliefs that whisper you're not enough and crushing them before they take root. Andrew Tate didn't build empires by accident. He outthought the room, every deal, every risk, by forcing his mind to focus on what wins, not what whines. Ditch the endless feeds that rot your brain. Replace them with books that forge titans, strategies from warriors who've bled for success, and knowledge that sharpens your edge like a blade on whetstone. Surround yourself with alphas who demand more, not complainers who drag you down. Their energy fuels your fire, turning isolation into isolation from weakness. Hook 2, envision waking at dawn, mind clear as crystal, no fog of yesterday's failures clouding your vision. You decide then and there that today you own every thought, every action, building mental walls so high that doubt can't scale them. Discipline your thoughts with precision, using tools like positive affirmations to rewire the neural pathways that once led to surrender. Repeat truths like, I am the architect of my reality, until they echo in your bones, banishing negativity and inviting unshakable confidence. Visualization becomes your secret weapon. Close your eyes and see yourself crushing goals, the crowd roaring, the wealth stacking, feeling the triumph as if it's already yours because a mind convinced of victory acts like it. I've stared down betrayals that would break lesser men, financial ruins that tested every fiber, but by controlling my focus, I turned chaos into conquest, proving that mindset isn't optional. It's the ultimate power play. Continuous learning keeps you ahead. Devour podcasts, masterclasses, anything that expands your arsenal, because stagnation is for the forgotten, while the unstoppable evolve daily. Hook 3. Think of your mind as a chemical factory, pumping out happiness or despair on command. Why let it default to sabotage when you can engineer exhilaration? Practice mindfulness, breathing deep to center yourself amid storms, refusing to let emotions hijack your drive. Set smart goals that align with your core, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound, giving your mind a map to march toward greatness, staying motivated even when the grind bites back. Emotional intelligence seals the deal. Understand your triggers, regulate the rage or fear, turning them into fuel rather than chains, because a master of his emotions commands any room, any battle. Cut out the noise, toxic influences, endless entertainment that dulls your blade. Curate your inputs like a king guards his realm, ensuring every idea elevates you. Here's the unfiltered truth. Without mindset mastery, all the hustle in the world crumbles to dust. Train it relentlessly, like your most prized possession, because when you lock down your focus, distractions shatter, purpose ignites, and unstoppable becomes your default. Hook 4. You're not just thinking positive, you're weaponizing it, outmaneuvering life's traps by anticipating them, breaking free from manipulation with a single blink of awareness, punishing weakness before it punishes you. Build resilience through daily rituals, journal your wins to reinforce the warrior within, meditate to silence the chaos, and face fears head on, emerging forged in fire. The man who controls his mind doesn't chase luck. He creates it, turning impossible into inevitable with every deliberate thought. Imagine this: you're chained to your bed at 5 a.m., the alarm blaring like a battle cry, every muscle screaming for 5 more minutes of comfort, but you rise anyway, because discipline isn't a choice. It's the invisible force that separates the elite from the eternally average. In the world of high-stakes achievement, motivation is nothing but a fickle spark that flickers out when the grind gets real. True power lies in ironclad discipline, that relentless engine that propels you forward even when your mind plots mutiny. Andrew Tate didn't amass empires or shatter records by waiting for inspiration to strike. He forged his success through unyielding routines that turned impossible into inevitable, proving that discipline is the great equalizer for any man ready to claim his throne. Hook 1. Picture the lion on the savannah, not hunting when it feels like it, but stalking prey with predatory precision day after day because survival demands consistency, not convenience. That's you, building an unbreakable routine that devours excuses and delivers dominance. Start by owning your mornings, like a commander seizes territory. Wake before the sun breaches the horizon, not because it's easy, but because those quiet hours are where legends are sculpted in solitude. Tate's own blueprint begins with this dawn ritual. No snooze buttons, no negotiations, just immediate action, whether it's cold water, shocking your system awake, or a mental inventory of the day's conquests ahead. From there, channel that momentum into physical mastery, hit the gym or training ground 7 days a week, 365 without fail, pushing weights that test your limits or sparring sessions that leave bruises as badges of progress. Discipline in fitness isn't vanity. It's the forge where a strong body births a stronger mind, teaching you to endure discomfort as a daily sacrament, applying that same grit to business deals, creative pursuits, or personal battles that lesser men flee. Stack your habits strategically, fuel your temple with clean nutrition, no sugar poisons or lazy indulgences, because what you put in dictates what you output in the arena of life. Hook 2. Envision the boardroom showdown. Your competitors crumbling under pressure while you stand unflinching because you've trained your will like a weapon through timed blocks of deep work. No distractions, no half measures, just focused execution that compounds into fortunes. Protect your calendar as sacred ground. Say no to energy vampires, low-value meetings, or endless scrolling that dilutes your drive, carving out 3 hours daily for high-impact tasks that move the needle on your empire. Tate emphasizes quarterly milestones broken into daily strikes, track progress ruthlessly, journal wins and failures without mercy, turning reflection into rocket fuel for refinement. Build a network of elevates, not anchors. Reach out weekly to those who outpace you, seeking wisdom over favors, because discipline extends to your circle, demanding you surround yourself with iron that sharpens iron. When doubt creeps in, counter with small acts of resistance, a brutal fast to conquer cravings, runs in the pouring rain when legs burn like fire, or push-ups until failure whispers retreat. But you press on, forging resilience that no storm can erode. Now deepen the discipline with mental fortitude, read voraciously, debate fiercely, and expose yourself to ideas that challenge and chisel your intellect. Because a disciplined mind devours knowledge like a predator consumes prey. Set boundaries that honor your path. Automate savings to build that cash buffer. Sleep 7 to 8 hours to recharge the machine and meditate to silence the chaos, ensuring every decision aligns with long-term sovereignty. Tate's philosophy rings clear. Discipline isn't punishment, it's liberation from the chains of impulse, allowing you to execute 90-day sprints where others scatter in excuses. Hook 3. Think of the marathoner crossing the finish line, legs screaming, crowd roaring, not fueled by fleeting emotion, but by the quiet vow made in training's trenches. That's the unstoppable rhythm you cultivate, where consistency compounds into a legacy that echoes through generations. Persevere through the nights of doubt, the losses that sting like salt in wounds, because real discipline shines brightest in adversity, transforming boys into men who command respect through unassailable performance. Prioritize self-care not as softness, but as strategic maintenance. Manage stress with breathing exercises. Take breaks to sustain the blaze and stay authentic to your grind, even when the world peddles shortcuts. Hook 4. You're not just grinding, you're architecting immortality, one disciplined dawn at a time, where the man in the mirror evolves from potential to powerhouse, outlasting every obstacle because surrender was never an option. Develop a work ethic that borders on obsession. Block distractions ruthlessly. Communicate with conviction and review your ledger of achievements weekly, owning every lesson as the price of power. In this arena, discipline doesn't just build success, it redefines you as the force that bends reality to your will, turning the ordinary into the extraordinary through sheer unrelenting force of habit. Imagine this. You're sprawled on the canvas of life's brutal ring, lights glaring, crowd jeering, every bone aching from the knockout blow that came out of nowhere. But instead of staying down, you force your eyes open and push up, because resilience isn't about dodging the punch. It's about turning the pain into your greatest weapon, rising fiercer than before. In the unforgiving arena of success, where fortunes flip and betrayals strike like lightning, Andrew Tate's path to unstoppable dominance hinges on forging this unbreakable core, transforming setbacks into setups for supremacy that lesser men could never endure. Life doesn't hand out mercy. It tests you with lost jobs, shattered relationships, and failures that echo like thunder. But the resilient warrior absorbs the impact, analyzes the fall, and launches back with a vengeance that silences the skeptics forever. Hook 1. Picture the ancient gladiator, bloodied and battered in the Colosseum, facing a horde of foes. Does he cower? No, he channels the agony into adrenaline, striking harder, because true power blooms in the blaze of adversity. Turning victims into victors who own the battlefield. Begin by embracing discomfort as your daily drill sergeant. Start small but savage. Plunge into ice-cold showers that jolt your system awake, forcing your body and mind to conquer the freeze, building that mental toughness layer by layer until hesitation becomes history. Tate's own saga screams this truth. From financial freefalls and legal cages that would crush the weak, he emerged not broken but battle-hardened, using confinement as a crucible to sharpen his resolve, proving that isolation forges clarity and comebacks that rewrite destinies. Face your fears head-on, no armor, no escape. Tackle that public speaking dread with deliberate exposure, dive into high-stakes negotiations where rejection looms, or endure the burn of extra reps when exhaustion begs for mercy, because each confrontation chips away at fragility, sculpting a steel spine that bends but never breaks. Develop emotional regulation as your shield when rage or despair surges. Pause, breathe deep, and reframe the storm. Ask not why me, but what's the lesson here? Turning raw hurt into strategic insight that propels you miles ahead. Hook 2. Envision the phoenix mid-flame, wings charring yet unyielding, because it knows rebirth demands surrender to the fire. That's you, after a brutal loss, dissecting the wreckage with cold precision, extracting gold from the rubble to rebuild an empire 10 times taller. Cultivate a growth mindset relentlessly. View every stumble not as a sentence, but as a seminar, journaling the blows to track patterns, seeking mentors who've bled through similar wars for unfiltered wisdom that accelerates your ascent. Tate preaches ownership without apology. No blaming the system, no pity parades. Instead, claim every outcome as your forge, where failures fuel innovation, like his pivot from kickboxing glory to business behemoths, each scar a blueprint for bolder risks. Surround yourself with a tribe of titans who mirror this grit. Cut ties with complainers who amplify weakness, opting for networks that challenge you to rise, because resilience thrives in echo chambers of excellence, not echo chambers of excuses. Deepen your arsenal with perseverance practices. Set micro challenges that stack like bricks, cold calls despite the knot in your gut, fasting through hunger pangs to master impulse, or marathons of focus amid chaos. Each victory compounds, creating momentum that no external force can halt. When the world piles on, betrayals from allies, markets crashing, dreams deferred, lean into optimism as your oxygen. Practice gratitude amid the grind, listing 3 wins daily to rewire your brain from scarcity to abundance, sustaining the fire that lesser flames extinguish. Hook 3, think of the oak tree weathering hurricanes. Roots digging deeper with every gale. That's the resilient man Tate embodies, unshakable because he's learned to thrive on turbulence, converting crisis into catalyst for conquests that leave legends in awe. Persevere through the plateau phases where progress hides, double down on consistency, reviewing quarterly to recalibrate, because resilience isn't a sprint. It's the marathon mindset that outlasts the quitters, turning one more try into triumphs that echo eternally. Build mental toughness through visualization nightly. Replay your rises in vivid detail, feeling the surge of comeback energy, programming your subconscious to default to defiance over defeat. Tate's unyielding ethos rings eternal. Pain isn't punishment, it's the price of power, and paying it in full equips you to charge through walls others deem impenetrable. Hook 4, you're not surviving the storm. You're the storm now, harnessing every lightning strike of hardship to electrify your path, emerging not just intact but invincible, a force that reshapes realities in your image. Imagine this. You're staring at an empty bank account, the world laughing at your broke dreams, but instead of begging for scraps, you spot the untapped gold mine in the chaos, rolling up your sleeves to mine it yourself, because real wealth isn't inherited. It's engineered by those who create value so massive, the universe pays in return. In Andrew Tate's blueprint for unstoppable dominance, hustling for genuine value and wealth means ditching the handout mentality that keeps most men chained to mediocrity and instead becoming the architect of abundance through high-stakes skills that command premiums and businesses that multiply like wildfire. Tate didn't stumble into millions. He built them brick by relentless brick, spotting market voids where others saw barriers, launching ventures in trading, real estate, and digital empires that turned zero into zenith, proving that true riches flow to the value creators who refuse to settle for wages when ownership beckons. Hook 1. Picture the chess grandmaster, not reacting to the board, but dictating every move 3 steps ahead. That's the hustler mindset, where you identify pain points in society, from inefficient services to overlooked niches, and deliver solutions so indispensable that clients line up to fund your ascent. Dive deep into skill acquisition as your first strike. Don't waste time on low-barrier hobbies. Master trades like copywriting, coding, or negotiation that scale exponentially, investing hours in courses and real-world trials until you're the go-to expert charging top dollar. Tate's strategy hammers home continuous upskilling. Devour books on economics, attend webinars from titans, and practice daily. Because in a world of copycats, the specialist who solves premium problems becomes untouchable, turning knowledge into capital that compounds weekly. Audit your life ruthlessly. Cut deadweight drains like impulse buys, toxic subscriptions, or time-sucking apps that siphon your focus. Reallocating every saved cent into assets, stocks that appreciate, side hustles that automate income, or networks that open doors to joint ventures. Build your business not as a job, but as a machine. Start lean with a minimum viable product. Test markets via social proof and feedback loops. Then scale with automation and delegation, watching passive streams flood in while you pivot to bigger plays. Hook 2. Envision waking to notifications of overnight earnings. Your creation working while you sleep? That's the power of value-driven entrepreneurship, where Tate's own casino and webcam empires exploded by filling unmet desires with unmatched execution, leaving competitors in the dust. Track your net worth like a hawkeye's prey. Weekly ledger reviews aren't optional. They're your compass, revealing leaks and levers, ensuring every decision aligns with exponential growth over linear survival. Tate preaches financial literacy as non-negotiable. Learn compounding interest, diversify into real estate or crypto with calculated risks, and negotiate every deal like your legacy depends on it. Because it does. Turning modest savings into fortunes demands vigilance against complacency. Surround yourself with high-caliber collaborators. Join masterminds, cold email influencers for alliances, and mentor up-and-comers to build reciprocity, because wealth accelerates in ecosystems of abundance, not isolation. Embrace calculated risks as your accelerator. Tate's kickboxing to business leap wasn't luck, but leveraged grit. Start with bootstrapped experiments, fail fast on small stakes, then double down on winners, because fortune favors the bold who back vision with value. Hook 3, think of the river carving canyons through stone, not by force alone, but persistent flow. That's your hustle, eroding obstacles over time, where spotting gaps like Tate did in online education portals leads to platforms that educate millions while padding your empire. Monetize your personal brand strategically. Document your journey on platforms like YouTube or LinkedIn, turning authenticity into authority that attracts opportunities, sponsorships, and sales funnels engineered for conversion. Prioritize cash flow kings. Focus on recurring revenue models, memberships, subscriptions, or affiliate empires that provide stability amid volatility, allowing you to weather storms and seize surges. Tate's unyielding mantra: wealth is a byproduct of service at scale. Solve problems for thousands, and thousands solve yours with their wallets, creating a virtuous cycle where value begets velocity. Hook 4, you're not grinding for gold, you're the alchemist, transmuting effort into empires, outpacing the 9-5 slaves by engineering systems that print prosperity. Just as Tate did from rags to supercars through smart, savage action. Imagine this: you're knee-deep in the mud of a relentless storm, lightning cracking overhead, every step a battle against the suck. But while others drop their gear and turn back, you lock eyes on the horizon and charge, because excuses are the silent killers that bury dreams alive, and the man who eliminates them rises as the unbreakable force no tempest can topple. In Andrew Tate's unyielding philosophy of personal conquest, eradicating excuses and the quitters around you isn't optional. It's the surgical strike that carves out space for indomitable drive, ensuring that betrayal, bankruptcy, or bone-crushing fatigue become mere footnotes in your epic of endurance. Tate himself clawed through betrayals that would shatter souls, financial black holes that swallowed fortunes, and grinds that tested the limits of human will, emerging not scarred but sculpted, because surrendering to weakness is the domain of those doomed to mediocrity's grave, while the elite outlast every assault with a ferocity that demands destiny. Hook 1. Picture the Spartan warrior at Thermopylae, outnumbered 1,000 to 1. Yet standing firm as his comrades fall, not because victory was promised, but because quitting meant death of the spirit long before the body. Mirroring your path, where you audit every I can tee and replace it with watch how I will, turning potential defeat into defiant triumph. Begin by owning your narrative with ruthless accountability. No more finger pointing at the economy, the boss, or bad luck. Those are the crutches of the feeble. And Tate's core tenet demands you claim every outcome as your creation, dissecting failures like a strategist maps enemy lines to forge unbreakable strategies from the debris. When the grind hits its brutal peak, deals falling through, allies vanishing like smoke, pause, journal the raw truth without sugarcoating, then pivot with precision, because excuses dilute your power, but ownership amplifies it, transforming why me into how do I weaponize this. That propels you past the pack. Surround yourself with a cadre of champions, not complainers. Curate your circle like a king selects his council cold. Call mentors who've weathered wars. Join masterminds of high achievers and sever ties with energy leeches who amplify doubt because proximity breeds emulation. And winners in your orbit ignite the fire to outpace the ordinary. Tate's rise from the ashes of loss wasn't solitary. He built alliances with alphas who challenged. Complacency, proving that demanding excellence from your network elevates you exponentially, turning isolation from toxicity into immersion and inspiration. Hook 2, envision the marathon's final mile, legs leaden, mind screaming retreat, but you summon that inner beast surging ahead as quitters fade into the rear view. That's the indefatigable drive Tate embodies, where you train to thrive on discomfort, stacking micro wins like armor plates to weather the endless assault of adversity without a crack. Cultivate habits that crush complacency. Rise before dawn for unfiltered reflection, where you vow zero tolerance for self-pity, scripting affirmations that reinforce your resolve. I am the storm, not the survivor, and execute them daily, because repetition rewires the brain from fragility to fortitude. When betrayal stings deepest, partners bailing on ventures, friends turning foes, lean into the lesson, not the lament. Analyze the breach, fortify your boundaries, and advance solo if needed. Because the path to the pinnacle is paved with those who've learned to trust their own unbreakable core over fleeting loyalties. Demand more from every interaction. In meetings, push for bold ideas. In workouts, add the extra set. In life, reject half measures, because acting like the beast you are means embodying the predator that hunts success relentlessly. Outlasting obstacles that devour the hesitant. Deepen this purge by embracing rejection as your refining fire. Tate faced doors slammed in his face, from kickboxing to business, yet each no fueled a fiercer yes to innovation. Teaching that excuses mask fear, but confronting it head on builds the resilience to persist where others perish. Track your trajectory weekly, not just metrics, but mindset shifts, celebrating the days you silence the inner quitter, because consistency and elimination compounds into a legacy of unyielding progress. Hook 3, think of the diamond forged under crushing pressure, impurities burned away to reveal pure brilliance. That's you, shedding excuse-laden layers through deliberate exposure to hardship, emerging as the elite who demands dominion, not deference, from a world that tests the worthy. Foster a no-quit culture in your daily doctrine. Visualize the endgame vividly each night, feeling the rush of outlasting the storm, and wake to act on it, because the man who never folds becomes the myth others aspire to, his story a beacon for those ready to rise. Hook 4. You're not enduring the grind. You're devouring it, transforming every betrayal into battle scars of honor, every broke dawn into a blueprint for billions, because in Tate's world, eliminating excuses isn't survival, it's the savage art of supremacy that etches your name in eternity. Imagine this, you're perched on the throne of your empire at dawn, the city sprawling below like a chessboard. You alone command, every rival reduced to pawns because you've woven mindset, discipline, resilience, and ruthless action into a daily ritual of total domination that turns ordinary existence into an unstoppable saga of supremacy. In Andrew Tate's blueprint for conquering life, seizing total domination isn't a distant dream. It's the deliberate dawn-to-dusk execution where a sharpened mindset cuts through illusions, iron discipline fuels the relentless engine, unyielding resilience deflects every dagger, and bold action seizes the crown, ensuring that today you don't just participate. In reality, you dictate its terms with the ferocity of a king reclaiming his realm. Tate's ascent from the underbelly of struggle to supercar sovereignty wasn't sporadic luck. It was this integrated assault where he rose each morning to orchestrate his day like a maestro, binding mental clarity to habitual grind, absorbing life's barrages without flinching, and striking with value-creating ventures that compounded into legacies that mock the mediocre. Hook 1. Picture the gladiator entering the arena, not as a fighter, but as the inevitable victor, his every move a symphony of preparation, mind locked, body primed, spirit armored, strikes precise. That's your daily domination, where you audit the night before, scripting 3 non-negotiable strikes that align with your vision, awakening not to react, but to reign. Start by fusing mindset mastery with your morning momentum. As the first light breaks, affirm your sovereignty. I am the architect, the unbreakable, visualizing the day's conquests in vivid detail, from sealing that pivotal deal to outpacing competitors in the gym. Because Tate teaches that a mind honed on purpose doesn't wander. It wages war on weakness from the outset. Layer in discipline as your unassailable framework. Block your hours like battle plans, allocating sacred slots for deep work on high-impact hustles. Whether crafting business models that scale or negotiating alliances that amplify, refusing interruptions as you would enemy incursions, because consistency in this fusion turns fleeting efforts into fortified fortresses of progress. When resilience's forge heats up mid-morning, perhaps a client ghosts or a workout plateaus, channel the earlier blows into fuel. Reframing the friction as refinement, pushing through with breath-controlled fury that Tate embodies, proving that integrated warriors don't pause for pain, they propel from it. Emerging midday sharper, stronger, ready to dominate the afternoon arena. Hook 2. Envision the eagle soaring above the fray, wings cutting wind that grounds lesser birds. That's you at noon, tying action to the core by auditing your value creation, review leads generated, skills sharpened, networks nurtured, then pivot ruthlessly, eliminating any drift toward excuses, because domination demands daily dividends from your empire-building engine. Deepen the weave in the afternoon grind. Surround your strikes with a circle of conquerors, exchanging insights over strategic calls that elevate everyone's edge. Mirroring Tate's network of alphas, where shared resilience sparks collective action, turning solitary hustles into synergistic surges that outmaneuver markets and multiply wealth. As evening descends, reflect without mercy. Journal the triumphs and tweaks, celebrating the mindset shifts that silence doubt, the disciplined hours that delivered results, the resilient rebounds from setbacks, and the actions that advanced your throne, because this nightly ritual, as Tate prescribes, compounds the day's domination into decades of dynasty. Hook 3, think of the forge master hammering steel into swords, each strike blending heat, force, and temper. That's your evening integration, where you implement one fresh grind, perhaps a cold outreach or a skill drill, owning the reality that bends to the man who refuses fracture, his integrated arsenal ensuring no force halts the rise. Persevere into the twilight hours with purposeful wind down. Meditate to consolidate the conquests, reading from tomes of titans to recharge the mental blade, ensuring sleep restores the machine for tomorrow's takeover, because total domination isn't a burst. It's the perpetual pulse of a life engineered for eternity. Hook 4, you're not merely advancing. You're the avalanche now. Mindset as the peak, discipline the momentum, resilience the unyielding mass, action the thunderous descent, burying barriers and bowing the world to your unbreakable will, just as Tate forged from fire into legend. So, as we wrap this up, remember, the world doesn't hand out thrones, you seize them. Go out there today, implement one thing from this speech. Master your mind, embrace the grind, rise unbreakable. Become the force that moves mountains. You're not average, you're destined for greatness. Now get after it. Unstoppable starts now.